Zongiwe Kwejayo. I had some great news and I'm so excited that on the 12th of March there will be a self-help meeting, and I am so not gonna miss this one. I'm gonna be there and I'll be sure to invite some few ladies to go with. Yes!
Hi everyone, my name is Hmmm and I'll be attending the self-help meeting on the 12th of March at 11 a.m. and I will not be attending alone. I'll be bringing someone with me, the first one of the year. Make sure you do not miss out.
We'll be having our very first self-help meeting of the year 2022. I'll definitely not be coming alone. I'll be having a few ladies coming along with me. I hope to see you there on the 12th of March 2022.
Hi everybody, my name is Mandisa and I'm from Durban, and I cannot wait to attend the very first self-help meeting of the year that will commence on the 12th of March at 11 a.m. sharp. I will bring along my friends because this meeting is not to be missed. See you there.
Greetings everyone, my name is Jessica. I would like to invite you to a special event that will be happening on the 12th of March, the self-help meeting. I am coming with some of the ladies and I would like to invite you to come with your friends. I'll be here in the Pietermaritzburg province and I will see you there.
I'm Sissy Postierman. Have you ever wondered of what women really want, and do you want to find out? Come and join us on our first special self-help meeting of the year 2022 on the 12th of March, number 9 Betikan Street, Cape Town. I will be there, and what about you?
Hello everyone, my name is Grace and I'm a facilitator in CBC Park Station. I am excited that we are going to have our very first self-help meeting of 2022. I am excited because all the self-help meetings I've ever attended have blessed me and have helped me to become a better version of myself. So I am so looking forward to this one. Now, the date is Saturday, the 12th of March at 11 o'clock. I am going to be at 25 Plain Street, Johannesburg in Park Station. Please don't miss out. Do come and join me. Set your date, mark your calendar, set your reminders, and come join me. I'll bring a friend along. Do bring your friend and come join me. See you there.
Hi everyone, my name is Oyama Sintu and I'm super excited for the very first self-help meeting of 2022. I'll be bringing some of my friends to participate with me in this meeting. It will take place on the 12th of March at 11 a.m. See you there.
Meet Lerato, currently staying home with bad credit, not sure where to work, slightly out of shape, and the list goes on. But this is who she could have been. Mid-20s professional, nice car, apartment, saving to get married. Nice, right? But why the huge difference? Her one day never came, and now she's left with this reality. If only she had her day one, That would have made all the difference. So, what about you? Which will it be, one day or Friday at 3 p.m.? We are women. We are brave, strong, capable, unique. We are women to women.
Good afternoon to all of you, and back we are celebrating Women's Month, International Women's Month. We brought a series of interesting topics to share with you, and today we are going to talk about one day or day one. What is the concept behind it? Everyone says one day, so it shows that we are not yet ready to engage towards the journey for our goals, our dreams, our purposes. But there are those who say day one, and that shows immediate decision to do what is necessary to achieve that goal. So we have day one and one day. Which one are you? The one who says one day is always delaying opportunities in life, but the one who says day one, he or she engages in getting what she purposed done. We are going to discuss five reasons why we procrastinate.
Wait, before we can find out why we procrastinate, let's hear what some South Africans have to say about it. Are we as a country a procrastination? There are things that we leave for tomorrow, but what are some of the things that we tend to leave for one day? Let's hear what South Africans think we as a nation tend to procrastinate on. Let's go.
My name is Tembilite and I am from Pretoria.
My name is Kauda from Tata.
My name is Mbali and I am from Togoza.
My name is Sinazawate and I'm from Pietermaritzburg.
My name is Bonia Zita.
I believe that one of the things that South Africans usually procrastinate on is family. Building a proper family structure. In especially with the generation that we're living in, where commitment is considered to be a taboo.
I think voting. When it's time to make the change that we all want to see happening, and we have to vote, people always put it off for the following year. No, I'm gonna vote next year. I want change, I want to see this and that happening, but I'm gonna vote for next year. I'm thinking with students as well, it can be studying. When they have to study for a test, they always put it off for a later time. No, I'm gonna study next week Tuesday and the test is Wednesday. And they end up feeling stressed and being anxious because they haven't had enough time due to procrastinating and putting it off for a later time.
Families are procrastinating a lot when it comes to solving family matters. You see, sometimes a child might have a problem at school, but then instead of parents going home, sitting down with the child, they'll keep on procrastinating, saying we'll talk about it some other time, we'll deal with it. Sometimes they even want to deal with matters over the phone just because they don't want to sit, come together as a family and resolve whatever that goes on in the family. So I personally believe that we as South Africans procrastinate a lot when it comes to our careers and also family.
We as South Africans always procrastinate because of the amount of responsibilities, work, influence, and also the demand we usually get, because we love leaving things in the last minute and not liking to feel uncomfortable.
It would be healthness and fitness. I think that when it has happened to each and every one of us. I'm gonna start the gym next week Monday. I'm gonna start the gym January the 5th. I'm gonna make sure that I go to gym. It never happens. It never happens.
Also, it can be, in our homes and families, it can be paying bills, doing our tax returns, something that we have to do, but we always say, no, I'm gonna pay the bills later on. And sometimes, the person ends up forgetting and they have their electricity and their water shut off. It can be getting a license. I'm gonna do it, in a couple of months. I'm gonna do it next year. One day I'll get that license. But sometimes it just doesn't happen.
There you have it. Doesn't look great, does it? Now, back to the studio.
Hi there, my name is Wongile Msomi, and guess what? We are going to have our very first self-help meeting in 2022. And I'm definitely not gonna miss this one. So I'll be coming with a couple of ladies. 12 March 2022, 11 a.m. See you there.
So the first topic, the first reason actually why most people procrastinate is the absence of structure. And what that means is that oftentimes people have dreams and ideas of great things that they want to do. However, there is no plan in terms of how they're going to achieve this, because any goal that we have, we know that there are certain actions, there's a plan that you need to have in order for you to reach that goal. So people have no plan, they just have a dream, they have an idea, they want to have a business, they want to, have a family, whatever the goal may be, but they don't have a plan in terms of how they're going to reach that. And because of this lack of a plan, it's just a dream. There's no plan in place, so it will remain a dream because there's nothing on paper, on your laptop, or smaller goals that you know that you need to achieve in order for that bigger goal to be fulfilled. On the other side as well, under the absence of structure, is that sometimes people want a perfect circumstance around in order for them to say, this is day one of me starting the achievement of my dream. So they may have a plan, but they are waiting for circumstances to be perfect. Last week, we spoke about perfectionism, how people want everything to be perfect. So sometimes people are delayed and they keep saying, one day I will achieve this, one day I will become that, mainly because they are waiting for circumstances to be perfect. And the truth is, when we think of an idea in our heads, our ideas and reality very seldom match to the T, that you can say, this happened exactly how I thought it would. Many times, circumstances are not favorable for you, but you still go ahead because you have a plan, you want to achieve whatever your goal is, and you still make it happen, even though everything around you was sort of whispering to you that you are not going to make it. But because you really were determined to achieve that goal, you still did it, even though the circumstances were not favorable for you, and you achieve your dream. And I believe that the success of it becomes even sweeter because you know that it was not handed to you on a silver platter. So under absence of a structure, it could be that someone has no plan, and that's why that dream remains just a dream in their head, or they are waiting for circumstances to be perfect, and because they will hardly ever be perfect, that's why they're still saying one day instead of saying today is my day one.
Another reason why we commonly say one day is because we live one day down the future, very far away, when we are faced with unpleasant tasks.
And I can say this from personal experience because I used to be that person who used to say tomorrow or one day I will do this. So if a task was big and I perceived in my mind that it would be difficult for me to do, I would easily put it off for one day when I have the energy to do that task. And I would always be like, let me wait until I'm motivated enough to do this, or today I don't have the energy to do this, so I'm going to put it off for one day. Instead of saying, okay, this task, it's really not my favorite. I don't I don't feel like doing it because, of course, it's feelings. I don't feel like doing it. But if I start now, today, as my day one, then it will be much easier, because I would always put off tasks that would seem very difficult for me, that I would overthink something. So maybe I have a task and already in my mind I'm thinking, how long will it take for me to finish this task? If it's 30 minutes, then it's fine. I do it with enthusiasm. I'm very excited. But then if in my mind it's like it's going to take 5 hours, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it today. I'll wait until I have energy for those 5 hours. But then I had to learn to break it down into small bite-sized pieces so that I don't feel so overwhelmed about it. So overthinking and being too overwhelmed about unpleasant tasks will lead me to say, I will do it one day or tomorrow. And tomorrow, of course, will lead to tomorrow or the weekend or next weekend or next month. So I will never get to it. And by the time I get to it, it's now very much unpleasant and it's huge. And there's no way that I can do it the way that I have to do it. So I will do it in a sloppy way. And I would not be happy with myself. So whenever this task comes again, I will not do it. I will just put it off forever until, I don't know, someone else needs it, or until I see that, okay, now it's really important that I have to do it, but then I will still do it sloppily and not in a good way.
And that leads us to cause number 3. In every situation, you either have a prize, a reward, or you would have a penalty. So timing is decisive to procrastination.
And a lot of people, we see it happening in their financial lives and in their professions as well. So you find a lot of people that say, no, I'd like to maybe be a lawyer or something. Like, oh no, but when I think of like the number of years, it won't be now. Like you want to envision yourself already wearing like your graduation attire and you're there with your thing. So a lot of them put it off like, okay, maybe not this year, especially our matriculants who have just matriculated. So how about I take a gap year? So for them, it's not one day, it's 1 year. Yeah. So in a year's time, I will then go back there. But then they don't realize that they slowly start slipping into the ease and comfort of life at that moment. Then some get derailed, like within their goal that they want. Another side is we see when it comes to financial commitments. A lot of people say, no, one day I will pay for that. So something comes up and then you're like, no, but then the penalty is not that bad. So I can skip a payment this month. Oh, next month. Oh, but it's just 2 months. And without seeing in no time, they only open their eyes when there's a huge penalty, when actually they waived the peace of mind, which was the benefit that they had of knowing that your bills are properly paid for, they're up to date. So you don't need to worry about a sheriff or anyone coming to repossess any possession that you worked so hard for. So a lot of them will just say, no, I'll pay it next month. Or our lovely installment plans that we get, they say pay in 6 months' time. And people get so excited, not realizing that that 6 months is a build-up of something. So we saw that even with COVID, the another side of it was a lot of people that would put off things, like instead of doing something like, oh no, we won't do it now, maybe we'll do it next year. And when COVID hit, people now had more time to actually do what they have been saying they will do. Like one day I will clean my house, one day I will sit with my family.
Plant some vegetables in my garden.
Yes, I'll have a vegetable garden. One day we will eat organic fruits and stuff. And then COVID came. We were all there. It was a perfect moment. And then they started saying, no, not today, maybe tomorrow. Then tomorrow became next week. Then next week became next month. But a lot of those that made it day one and said, okay, I'm home, I'm not doing anything. How about I start something? Then they planted that vegetable garden. Then the neighbor started saying, oh, I like how big your carrots are. Can I buy some from you? And they began a business. And that was something that they did on the side. But when people want to wait for the perfect timing, unfortunately, there will always be the people that live on the one-day dream.
And I wanted to talk about anxiety. fear of failing. This is one of the reasons why people always live on one day. Because somehow they are aware of their shortcomings, they are aware of their insecurities, and in the back of their minds, they always say, if you do this now, and if you fail, how are you going to pick up the pieces? And how are you going to plan again? How are you going to carry on? How are you going to build your life again? So one day I will do it. And the more they wait for this perfect circumstance, for this miraculous one day, more anxious they become, more frustrated on themselves. Like you said, when you would see that it was not working, that you didn't do what you were supposed to do, you would have to also cope with frustration. So when you face your fear, if I fail, at least I have tried. And more important is trying than actually just crossing my arms. If I fail planting my vegetable garden and only a few tomatoes grew up and very bad ones, at least I had the experience of trying. And I make of that my day one, and I confront my fears and I put it aside. I automatically cancel anxiety because I don't live out of that torture. I'm going to fail, and if this does not work. So anxiety has been one of the reasons why people procrastinate, not understanding that the more they procrastinate, looking for that one day, more anxious they are and more frustrated with themselves, not necessarily with others, but with themselves. And the last one, it goes in line. Self-confidence.
Yes, and we are going to talk about love life in self-confidence. And maybe you are asking, but is it not good to have self-confidence? It is, however, it makes you to think, one day I will start working in my love life. So people, they are very happy to say, I'm multitask. I can work, I can study, I can take care of my house. However, they are not so happy to say, I can work in my job, in my professional life, and I can also build my family. So they have different end goals. No, just now I need to think I'm 25, 30. It's my professional life. I need to be established. And one day when I'm 40s, then I will think about marriage. And they are so confident that they will find someone in the 40s that will be there just waiting for them to finish whatever they were doing.
Probably someone else who said one day.
Yeah, but sad enough, their self-confidence just goes down because they don't find this person. And they are frustrated and they just think love is not for me. So they keep postponing one day instead of saying, let me do day one. I will think about my love life. I'm working, I'm studying, but let me start also building day one in my love life, in my marriage, because there will be no just day one. It will be other day 2, day 3, day 4. So they need to start right now and not keeping it, being so confident that one day, or when you are 50, you will find someone on the 50s.
And then you want to start a family, and physically speaking, it will be quite a challenge.
Yeah, it's very hard.
No? So those 5 reasons we gave you, it was to help you to position yourself. If you are on the group of one day, or if you are part of the group of day one. Let me tell you offhand that our aim is to make you to jump from the group of one day to day one. And maybe we didn't work hard enough to convince you. But I have a question. I read something very interesting. Are we South Africans a nation of procrastination? It's a new way of speaking that. And I wanted to read for you part of a statement that Deputy President, or former Deputy President, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, has made it available in November 1998. And he was referring about us South Africans in relation to procrastinating. And who knows if we have become a procrastination. So he says, all South Africans should be genuinely concerned that if they procrastinated over bridging the gaps that existed between them, then they could expect an explosion to occur. In other words, one interesting point about procrastination: it is not necessarily about time management, but it's mostly about emotional management. So we are going to now explore some of the things that we as South Africans tend to procrastinate. This is the first apology of the year 2022. We don't want to be harsh on you, but we are work in progress. And when we decided by December to be work in progress, and if you have our badge with your profile, it was to make of December our day one. So if we need to shaken things up to make you see that it's time to jump to the group of today's day one, right now is your day one, be so. What could we say we as South Africans like to procrastinate? Who would start risking your opinion?
I found that quote very interesting because it was said in what, 2019?
In November to 1998.
1998, and now we are in 2022.
We're talking about 24 years.
How true is that statement? If we don't start bridging the gap, there will be an explosion that will happen. I think that we are living through the times of many explosions because of gaps that were not bridged, that we have continued to procrastinate. And I was thinking that one way that as South Africans we procrastinate is that we somehow hold on to what is not right, what is not fitting, what is lacking, versus what we have and what we can do right now. Sometimes it's because we are still holding on to the past, so much so that we are failing to see the possibility of a beautiful future that we have before us. Because it's not that anyone should forget anything, but I just think that sometimes we hold what hurts us so dearly, that we have lived through so much pain that it's like it's a crutch that we can't let it go and just allow the possibility of just being different and living a different life. It's like it's an identity, it's a stamp, it's an identity that we hold so dear as a nation that we are not everyone is willing to say, yes, it's a part of me, but I don't have to carry it with me for as long as I live. And that's one thing that I think, if that statement to me, when I heard it, it made me think of that it really is true, that I think we're living through explosions.
And bringing it to our personal life, not only as a nation, but personally, who was never disappointed but someone else? And one of the reasons why we procrastinate as a nation is that we cling to the disappointment and we don't give ourselves in every area of our life sometimes to have new experiences. So you have been disappointed in your love life and you withdraw. You have failed in your business, and how many failed, unfortunately, during the pandemic, you don't want to try again. You have failed in your matric, or you have failed to secure a place at varsity, you wanted to do something else. And we procrastinate to take action about rebuilding our lives in every way possible. And that I wanted to include something, please forgive me. But I think as a nation, we procrastinate politically. It amazes me how it is difficult when we come close to elections to convince people to exercise a right that it was truthfully conquered through blood, to protests, to many efforts of previous generations. And we take it for granted. Oh, voting is not compulsory. And how many go from how many not? A smallest share of voters go to the election day with a mindset of their candidates. They don't even know what are the proposals, what are the memorandums, what that candidate advocates for or not. And they just go and they think right there and then. They feel that they still choose to go. That is very scary, to bridge the gaps, and explosions are happening. They go and right there they look at the names and they choose it just anyhow. And you were talking about psychologically one of the tactics that candidates have because they know of this reality. It is what?
Let's say, for example, this grey party. What they do is...
It shows great because we don't want to take party to anyone.
Yes. So we have grey party and politicians know this. So that's why maybe we know that next year we will be voting. You're not going to see any posters anywhere like a year before. It will only be maybe 2 months or 1 month before. That's when you start seeing a lot of posters. And I read this article where it says that they will always place posters at eye level. So when you're driving, you see grey poster. When you're walking, you see grey poster. Even if you don't like grey party, it's not your favorite. You don't like it at all. You don't believe in what they stand for. But because you don't know which party you're going to vote for, so what you do is, in your mind, you're already used to seeing this grey party. So on the day of the election, when you go, because you don't know, the first thing you will see is the grey party that you were always seeing when you were driving in a taxi or walking, then you will vote for it. So they use it as a tactic to get more votes as well.
And then you add another frustration because you see the government is not doing much for us. However, the government has been lawfully elected by each one of us.
Mm-hmm. And I think as well, latism is a word that was, it originated from South Africa. It does not exist in other countries, unfortunately, but we made it up here. Latism is one of the things that we have.
So now let us go to Urban Dictionary for our audience from all around the world, out of South Africa. Write down latism.
Latism is the art of being late. Yes. So we as South Africans, we are always late for everything.
There is such a thing called South African time.
It does, yeah, it does exist.
Actually, it's African time. No?
Yes. They call as an art to be late.
I'm actually thinking it's an art. Okay.
It's also fashionable to be late, apparently.
Okay.
Like we have perfected it so much that we have African time. It's our time. You show up late for everything. And it's so funny because I try not to do it. They are laughing because I'm always late. They think I'm always late, but
we are work in progress.
But we can say she's not.
Yeah, I'm a work in progress. So we have perfected it so much, and we don't do it intentionally. It's just in our minds because we think that it's African time. So it's acceptable to be late at work, at school, with homeworks, with
to church.
To church, yes. And I remember one day, the service had just gotten out, the morning service, and I was still very young, and my mother's friend walked in, and it was very late. It was around 10:30. The 10 o'clock service had already started. And my mom was like, "Wow, friend, you're so late. Why are you so late?" And she said, "Better late than never." And my mom was like, and she told me, she's like, "Well, in heaven, it won't work like that. You have to be on time with everything. Don't put anything for tomorrow." So I think that's the mentality that we have, better late than never. So we always postpone things. I remember how in high school, I used to do that a lot. I didn't like many of the subjects, I have to be honest. So we would be given homework and I would put it off for tomorrow. Then I would tell myself, I will wake up very early tomorrow morning and do the homework. And of course, knowing myself, I wouldn't wake up on time. So I would leave it off for the last minute. Then I'm running to school. And what I did, and I didn't do this intentionally. So I'm not giving people ideas that they should do this.
I'm afraid they're going to get it. But anyway, our aim is to convince you to change your mind and to make of now day one.
Yes.
So don't get that idea.
Yeah, so it's a very bad idea because at the end of the day, I failed because I didn't know the subject. And what I did was I used to befriend this intelligent girl in class. She was quiet and I was quiet too, so she became my friend. So in the mornings, I would always run to her and like, oh, please, can I copy from your work? And I would get right all the time, 10 out of 10, it would be perfect. But then the thing is, I was robbing myself because I didn't know the subject. And as Precious so nicely put it, when the test comes, she won't be there. It will be me.
She will be writing her test.
Yes,
not yours.
and I remember in one grade, I failed one test very miserably. I was the worst in class. And because I didn't know the subject, and people were shocked because I used to get 10 out of 10 with the homeworks, but I used to copy off from someone else. So lateism is one of the things that we have as a nation. We love being late. We have perfected the art of lateism.
Another one I was thinking of is also the fear of being different as a nation. We love embracing the ordinary, the norm, and we go with it, as Tammy was saying, with the late thing. So if you're going to an event, people fear being the first one at the event because they're like, no, but everybody else will arrive late. So how about I walk in late with everybody? However, it escalates to certain parts of our professions that end up affecting the future of our country and even our economy. Because now you have maybe, let's say you in a certain school, and that school has a certain name or stigma about it. Now you have that young, intelligent person that is goal-driven. They are day one person, but because they get there and everybody is on one-day mode, like one day for them is when we're in grade 12, that's when we're going to shape up because we're getting ready for our futures. But not realizing that actually when you're going to be misbehaving throughout all those 4 years, the 4th year of you being in high school is actually one of the most crucial ones, because when you're applying for tertiary education and higher education, they first look at your grade 11 marks. And now that young person tells themselves like, no, now I'm in grade 12, I'm working hard. Because that's where we see a lot of change. That's when the bad boy now is the good boy, he's an angel and all of that. Then they start applying and then they get so disappointed and sad that they get to go to places and they're not approved and they're told that no, be on the waiting list. We have other kids from other maybe schools or other places that did well. But it wasn't because they are special, like they like to say it, like, oh no, but if I went to a good school, if I went to a better school, if we were paying this. No, the truth is you're afraid of being different. We like fitting in. We like being part of crazy communities, if I can say, crazy associations, that you forget that at the end of the day, when it's time to start living, you are the one that's going to live alone. So then that's why we find most of them that they sometimes excel in their grade 12, but they are unable to do much because of the previous year's setbacks that they had. And that becomes a bad testament, because even universities, I don't think if I was an owner of any elite institution, I would want someone that I'm told that they were rowdy for 4 years and on the 5th year, then they behaved. I'm going to be afraid, like if I bring them here.
So it means the first 3 years of their tertiary education, they are going to play with, and they're going to take it serious by the 4th.
And that's why with bursaries nowadays, they had to change their policy, a lot of them, whereby they'll say, how about the first year your parents pay for you? And we see how you do, then we will kick in the second year, because the first years, people just, like Tammy was saying, they're about enjoying themselves, like making the most out of the moment, but not positively, in a negative way. So I think that's something that we need as a country to start looking at and stop procrastinating, like accept change and accept being different and walk out of that community and that norm in order for you to be happy.
I wanted to add something, and please, the second forgiveness of the year. For you youth who is still at your studies and adding 1 year to the other year to the other year. You become procrastinating when you accept a rate of 30% pass mark and you take it as good enough. But truth is, when you're going to write your matric, you're going to compete with those who had their grades at 70, 80%. And then you're going to be left behind because it is a competition. It is few slots for a great number of people. And then you will have to compete for one place at that tertiary education with those who had 80%. So stop procrastinating about this 30% approval mark, because that is not going to take you very far. Not today, not even one day.
I was thinking also about how as a nation we procrastinate in changing, Precious touched on it, changing, the future of our children or the circumstances that we live in. I think that as in South Africa, the people, we are very much reliant on the state. And when something is not right in our communities, we are all waiting for the government to come and fix it. When I was in primary school, one of my teachers used to say when she was a child, she thought that the government was this big man with a big white beard who had lots of money, unlimited amounts of money, that anything that is a problem, the government is coming and he's going to fix it. In her childhood mind, the government was a human being who could solve just about anything, because even then, when she was a child, everyone would say, no, the government is going to do this. The government is going to do that. And I think that, to be sincere and frank, we have seen that certain things are not going to change if we are waiting for someone else to come and do them for us. So we have maybe facilities that are not the best in our community, in our townships, but we don't want to take care of them. We are waiting for the government to come and clean the soccer ground, for them to make it look nice, because, our children don't have anywhere to play. And the ones in the suburbs, they have. But we are here and, we have the ability and the skills to clean it up and take care of it, community watch if, crime is bad. And I'm not saying that we're going to take over the work of, civil servants, police, nurses and all of that. But I'm saying where I can do something for my children's future, for my children, for my community, I am able. Why am I waiting for government? We have that thing that I'm not going to do it. Government needs to come and do it. But in truth, who is the government if not us? Because we are the one who select who needs to be in whatever positions. But at the end of the day, we are the government. So I think that we procrastinate in doing what we can do, and we hold on to, no, one day the government, when we were voting, they promised that they were going to do 1, 2, 3. It hasn't happened 6 years later, but one day they are going to do it. But who is suffering? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that justifying maybe services that people may not be receiving. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying what is within my power, what is within your power to do it today, because you are the one who's going to benefit. You are the one who's going to, your children are the ones who are going to see that actually we can do something different. We don't have to wait for someone else. We have the ability, we have skills. God has given us talents and skills, and what I like, Tammy is good in, and when we work together, we can create something great. So we always say, oh, we are a rainbow nation. We come together when it comes to sports and all of these things. We can come together and make a difference. However, where it really counts, we tend to just fold our arms. If Tammy's not doing it, I'm not doing it as well. But I'm going to suffer just as much as she's going to suffer. So, yeah.
And I think the worst kind of procrastination is when you put the fate of your life in someone's hands. If the person doesn't do anything for you, you also don't do. And one day, who knows, someone will come and rescue you, but that one day may never arrive. Something about love life. I see her and I see a heart. And that's the problem, because they take love life as feelings.
Yeah, they're just thinking about what they feel today. And feelings change. What you feel today, you're probably not going to feel tomorrow. So they fail sometimes to build family. I'm going back to this purpose. South Africans, we love family. We are family people. We really love. But how we build new families.
But there is something we don't love about. To solve problems within the family.
Yeah.
We procrastinate. One day it's going to get sorted.
Yeah, we just push it under the rug and we leave it there. But if you plan, if you make day one day, not one day, day one, let me think about not my feelings. That guy is so handsome, he's beautiful, but how long he's going to be handsome like with that six-pack? For how long? One day, now you can use the one day that six-pack will no longer be there. My husband likes to say it will be a dry pack. However, that feeling will go. So you need to have the intelligent love. That's what we always say. It's not about just the heart, but it's about your mind. Because no one gets old in the mind. The mind keeps growing and it's a work in progress. So when we understand family, we love family, but how we are dealing with problems of our family, how we are thinking about building up family, our kids, and have that day one with a good family structure. Okay, you don't have a past family structure, but you can make it now. That you will sit down with your kids, even if you are a single mother. That's what you have at hand now. So you can start building family with your little kids, and day one, investing in your life, you will find someone that will love, not just you, but you will have a completely family with everyone that you think.
Sorry. Can I issue the third apology for the year? Talking about family problems, it's a South African thing. They wait one day. I know one day I will speak to her. One day I will go and apologize. Or one day I will confront her. And then that day never comes. The person passes away. And what we see a lot is
the explosion.
Yes. And now they're blaming everyone. Like, oh, if you had done this, and then they go to the gravesite and they try to apologize, but the person is already gone and he or she won't hear anything. We see a lot of people visiting gravesites and crying there, but the thing is, it's too late. You had your day one, but you told yourself one day, but that one day never came.
Not only gravesites, but also the courts with divorces or children leaving home on a very bad note, not contacting parents anymore. That division in the family because they always left for tomorrow what they should have done today.
And I'm thinking of how, yes, sometimes I think they avoid, because we are a community country, we love our community. So it is uncomfortable sometimes for them to sit down and address hard topics. Like, I can imagine a mom having to sit down maybe with her brother who has maybe infringed the child's rights. It's something uncomfortable. But then I think if we were to address certain family problems, even the population in our correctional services would be far less, because you see how sad it is where this person has murdered maybe just an example. My brother murdered Bitumelo, and then we're there at sentencing. And then at the end, he's given maybe his sentence. And then I'm there like, but my brother is such a good man. He wasn't like bad and all of that. He'll always be my brother. I'll always love him and stuff like that. But when we look at history, there were certain behaviors, there were certain red flags that could have been looked at. And that, like, I always think of how it starts on a small scale and how it keeps escalating, because we wouldn't have these huge explosions that we're having on the news, whereby you hear that certain person that was entrusted with this misused those funds. But that person didn't start there. No, they started long before. And because we are that like we're those people, let's sweep things under the rug, and we hope
very forgiving.
Yeah, and we're forgiving as well. But then we don't think, even in the forgiveness, that some people are still holding on to things and they are not at peace with that. And we see it happening where, my apology of the year,
fourth,
because then you didn't do what you were supposed to do or appreciate the people that you were supposed to appreciate. When that person passes away, then the funeral is lavish. We want to bring out all the lavish cars. We are confused. Is it a wedding? Is it a gala event? Is it a funeral? And we are adoring that person. It is red carpets. It is flowers galore. But when that person was alive, you never did that. That
Sad.
person never.
One day I will.
One day I will. Mama, one day when I make it, I will take you out. I will do this. But spending time with family has no price tag. Just sitting there and listening to that person and hearing them out. But then now when the person has passed away, we have that beautiful obituary where like they say, she's survived by 5 cousins, 20 brothers and sisters, but we've never seen them at her house when she was alone, when she was in dire need. So I think we need to also stop putting off things and start attending to urgent things that we have as a country. Our family, society, and structure is broken, and we really need to work on it. And we can't say it's a norm, because once a person is dead, as Tammy was saying, sometimes they're not going to the graveside because they are sad, but they're going to ask for blessings from that person. But I always question to ask, if that person couldn't do anything for themselves, with all due respect, when they were alive, what are they going to do for me when they've passed away? And if I was crossing the person half the time, what makes me think in their death they're going to turn and all of a sudden be my guardian angel? So we need to stop this fairy tales that we have in our minds, that thinking that things will just poof, like change and be cute. But really, in our family structures, we need to start working on it. Mannerism, like how to treat people, how to manage your finances, how to not be greedy. Because the reason we have problems is because I believe at grassroots level, no one dealt with it.
If we will go on with this list, I think we need 3 programs. And next week, we have to speak about another subject. We have to go back and talk about the millennials. So, just to summarize, there are so many things we can procrastinate and say one day. How about your diet? How about health eating? How about investing in a new job opportunity? How about paying your debts in time? How about start reading a book? How about investing in savings? Investing or savings? The list goes on and on and on. And just talking about several scenarios will not help you, because you're always going to look at it and say, oh, but that is not happening with me. Our aim is that whatever you have been procrastinating as a nation, as a community, or in your individual life, not day one, hour one, right now, you make the change. We are going to talk more about that just after our break. Think on it. It can be your hour one. Stay tuned.
Hello, hi, I go by the name Nana and I live in Pretoria. Please do join us for the Godly Will Self-Help meeting on the 12th of March at 11 a.m. I'm bringing my family, I'm bringing my friends. Please do the same and join us. Do not miss out.
You unravel me with the melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies. till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again to a family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God.
Hello everyone, my name is Baba Lwamana and I'm from Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha Main Church. I would like to invite you to the upcoming self-help meeting which will be on the 12th of March at 11 a.m. It will be broadcasted live from Soweto and throughout UCKG SA social media networks. Will you be attending? Because I will, together with my fellow CBC facilitators. I cannot wait.
Welcome back, and I hope you did not disconnect because we were a bit confrontational. But to be a work in progress, you need to identify the areas you need progress on. And we are helping you, shaking a bit things, but through the truth, who knows if you have spotted that you are procrastinating on something for the future, a future that might never come because it's always about tomorrow. So, what God says about this. It's interesting to read Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4. And we conclude that our ignorance of the future is not to stop action. God teaches us. Let us read together. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. So when you are affected by the circumstances, and we know when planting, the certain time for the rain or the wind is detrimental for the success of that plantation. But think about our agriculture this past months. I'm still waiting for summer, and summer did not come. The rains don't stop. So imagine if one decides, I'm not going to plant. So when it comes year end, we don't have what to buy in the markets because no one decided to plant. They were literally observe the wind, or they were regarding the clouds of rain. And because of that, they didn't plant and they are not going to reap. The same is in our lives. Whenever we observe the circumstances, and most often they are not favorable, we will not take action. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. And if I wait for the tomorrow to bring me good tidings, I'm not going to be proactive in my life. This is what we learned from COVID. One day we were busy working, studying. The following day we were all at home. How many dreams, how many plans, how many sowing and reaping was destroyed during those years? So if you always say one day, it might never come. And you will live out of the regrets of the things you could not achieve. You're going to increase in anxiety, your self-confidence will be destroyed, and you will see your life pass by without any result. God is saying, stop observing. If you have determined that you are going to plant, do it now. But how about the rain? Cover, put a structure, protect your plantation. Do something that will save your plantation. In your life, what can you decide? To stop observing the rain, observing the wind, and making of this very hour your hour one. What is it that you have been putting off for tomorrow? You have been withholding because of frustration, and you did not act upon. Today is the day to put it in motion. It's not easy, but through prayer, we can achieve it. And who knows if you have been procrastinating in your relationship with God. You have been waiting for the right moment, for more time, for more conditions, to come back to church, to engage in this chain of prayer, to be more active in your Bible reading, to be closer to God in your prayers, and you have not been able to do so. But today, it is your day one. This hour, this very hour, it is our one. And through our prayers, we are going to help you. So please close your eyes. Tammy, would you pray for them, please?
My Father, we thank you for this topic that I believe a lot of people, they will appreciate because it is the truth. We are putting so many things for one day instead of starting now. And where would we be as a nation? Where would we be as individuals if today was our day one? If right now was our hour one, instead of waiting for tomorrow, instead of waiting for one day? I ask you, Lord, that you may give this person who is watching strength to call this family member who they haven't been talking for a while and she keeps on postponing, saying, one day I'll call her. I pray that you may give her the strength right now to take that phone and call and apologize and talk before it is too late. You have given us the ability as a nation to fix this country, to make this country a better place, but we are always waiting for someone or for some day before we start. But I pray right now that you may give us the wisdom on where to start, where can we start, where can I start as an individual to make this country a better place. I ask you, Lord, that you may strengthen this person who is watching and has not come back to church since the COVID, and now the churches are open and fully functioning, but she keeps telling herself that one day when the COVID is all over, I will come back to church. But let this be her day one. Let this be the start where she will rebuild her relationship with you. I ask you that you may strengthen each and every person who's watching. It won't be easy, but one day they will look back and they will be thankful that they started on that day one. I bless each and every one of them right now, and I ask you that you may transform their lives as they take this step, and may you transform each and everything that they do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So right now is your one day or day one. This is to be a work in progress. And this is what we are doing in different areas of our lives. And we invite you to join us today. You're going to put our badge in your profile, but you're also going to say, I am making of today my day one in this change in my life. Next week, we have the most awaited show of the month of March. Interesting topics, but nothing else is more interesting than talking about your generation. We spoke about the Gen Zs and it was a success, but next week we're making a very special show brainstorming on the previous generation, the millennials. So you have to come back to this channel in your Facebook, in your YouTube, and our Gen Zs are asking for TikTok, but we are only on these two platforms. And join us for another wonderful show. Until next week, God bless you all, and we see you at 3 p.m. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Nobulunga. Guess what? We are going to have our very first self-help meeting in 2022 at Soweto, and I'm definitely not gonna miss it. I'll be coming with a couple of ladies on the 12th of March 2022 at 11 a.m. See you there.
They just like comparing us, like they do not understand us at all.
Wait a minute, you didn't think it was over, did you? Now it's time for round 2. The Gen Zs came from somewhere, didn't they? They learned from someone.
They just like comparing us, like they do not understand us at all.
Wait a minute, you didn't think it was over, did you? Now it's time for round 2. The Gen Zs came from somewhere, didn't they? They learned from someone, didn't they? Introducing the generation that paved the way for the Gen Zs, the Millennials. If you thought round 1 was intense, get ready.
Competitors respect each other.
This Friday at 3 p.m.